Geraldine, you're chair of AVEA, the Association for Visitor Experiences and Attractions, and of course, you're also director of the Cliffs of Moher. So you're a busy person. But in terms of the visitor attraction sector, how are things looking as we head into the busy, hopefully busy summer 2023 season?
Thanks, Owen, and delighted to speak to you this afternoon. Yeah, look, we're very positive about 2023. It's early days yet, but our bookings are strong. Our members feel confident, more confident that they did this time last year. And, there's really strong international connectivity now into Ireland. And here in the West, we have increased flights into Shannon Airport. And this really makes a difference to our members, with that
Yeah.
strength of connectivity behind us. And we're all hoping to reap the benefits for that. And look, 2022 finished out better than expected. And, we're hoping for a strong domestic market as well as international market.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding those headwinds that are out there, there's a lot happening in the macro environment and as well with the accommodation here domestically as well.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. You're right. I was at the CIE Tours Awards recently, and lots of the AVEA members won awards. So the quality of the visitor experience product in Ireland is higher than ever, isn't it?
It is. Look, I suppose people come to Ireland for authentic experiences, and really the visitor attractions and experiences shine a light on everything that's great about Ireland. So those national strategic assets are very important
Yeah.
for visitors in terms of building those memorable experiences when they do come to Ireland. So CIE run the annual awards. There was a hiatus there for 2 years because
Right.
because of COVID. But look at members were delighted to be back in the winning game again.
Yeah.
And CIE International Tours, they shine a spotlight on the great visitor attractions and experiences. And we had attractions from all over the country winning. And of course, the Cliffs of Moher experience was delighted to win the best visit on Ireland. And I suppose these awards are great because it's an external validation
Yeah.
of how well that you're doing in your attraction, and they're voted on by customer surveys. So it's really the customers telling us, how good or bad we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And as you say, an independent, if you like, validation of how good we are. Sometimes we criticize ourselves too much, but the external visitor sees us very highly. And I know there's a lot of positive developments in the visitor attraction space. Strokestown Park last year, Mount Congreve Gardens. There's lots going on, which is a plus. The 9% VAT rate, Geraldine. It was recently extended by the government for a further 6 months. It does apply to your sector. How important was that decision by government for your members?
Look, I suppose our members welcome the extension to the end of August. It gives our members an opportunity to prepare for the increase. Obviously, nobody wants it, but it is coming. So it allows our sector to prepare, and it gets the season out of the way, if you like,
Yeah.
through to the end of August. But I suppose the visitor attractions and experiences in Ireland, are very competitive in terms of their ticket yields. But absolutely glad to see it extended for the 2023 season up to the end of August.
Yeah, and important, I think, as well, because the costs are so much more expensive, aren't they, for all businesses? And I'm sure the visitor attraction sector is the same. You mentioned COVID. I banned that word, but we've now both mentioned it, so we'll have to talk about it. Are there any new sort of consumer trends or experiences, do you think, following COVID? Like, people didn't travel for 2 years. Now suddenly they're allowed travel again, and there's great hunger, obviously, to visit countries like Ireland. But are you detecting any new trends or habits by the consumer that affect the attraction sector or Irish tourism as a whole?
Yeah, I do think that, coming out of COVID, certainly we saw last year that people were very happy to be back traveling. I think that, people's vacations or holidays or time out from their working lives, is very important to them. And there's a lot of thoughtful consideration and preparation going into holiday time. And I think that the emerging trends that we are seeing is really the dialing into sustainability and what that
Yeah.
means to people. And I suppose their interactions, digitally. We think that, I suppose, visitors are spending more time researching their holidays. More people are booking online and
Mm.
preparing for their visits. And when they do come to a destination or to a visitor attraction experience, they want to get the most out of it. So, they want a high level of interpretation, and they want to see, where their contribution is going in a meaningful way. So that
Yeah.
this is really feeding into the sustainability. And I suppose, to give you an example of that, and in terms of what we have done at the Cliffs of Moher, is that we have really concentrated on the economic and social sustainability around the Burn and Cliffs of Moher Geopark to ensure that the wider local economy is benefiting. So we have recently had a showcase to show all of the great retail products that are available at the Cliffs of Moher that are locally sourced, so that come
Yeah.
from County Clare. And we really want to bring these to the fore, because visitors are looking for something that's authentic and of place. And we feel that this is certainly a changing trend, that people want something of the place, and
Yeah.
that are willing maybe to pay a little bit extra for that. And I suppose people are also looking at, I think coming out of COVID and with the increase in the cost of living, people are looking at maybe different ways to travel. So the
Mm.
use of rail, the use of coaches, and the use of the public bus. We have seen, I suppose, unprecedented use of the public service bus to the Cliffs of Moher. And I think a lot of our members would see their customers looking at different ways to travel to an experience. And this could be even walking, cycling, use of public transport, rental of
Yeah.
electric vehicles. And I think these are all part of changing trends that we will see more of into the future. And
Yeah.
another, I suppose, aspect maybe is the day visit, as we see, the increase in cost of living, maybe not a lot of availability of accommodation, particularly for our domestic market, that they are looking at, those day visits are,
Yeah.
where can I go for a day?
Yeah.
And, that they're willing and want to see attractions and experiences, but may not go overnight. So I suppose we're yet to see the how that might play out in the 2023 season.
Yeah. County Clare is a good example, I think, of how important Irish tourism is to regional Ireland. I mean, tourism is probably the biggest industry, certainly over the summer months in somewhere like County Clare. The whole sort of government response to the Ukraine crisis, and it's contracting with hotels and guest houses for humanitarian reasons, which is all very laudable, but that does have an unintended consequence, doesn't it, on sort of tourism regions. And I just wonder, in County Clare, or are there other pockets of the country where some of your members are kind of worried that, you mentioned, it might be day visitors rather than overnight visitors, and the region might suffer because of a lack of bed stock. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think certainly different parts of the country are affected differently. And I know that there are certain areas within the country where a lot of the hotel stock has just been completely wiped out due to the humanitarian crisis. I think the main thing for visitor attractions and experiences is, I suppose, there is a sense of maybe fear, uncertainty, maybe of the unknown in terms of planning.
Yeah.
Looking forward, that maybe attractions and experiences, in past years would have had certainty around maybe certain segments of the market, like group tours, that business being there. And I suppose early indicators from some of the tour operators is that, the accommodation that was available isn't available, or maybe not all of the accommodation in particular properties is available. So certain tour operators may have to split tours, and
Yes.
maybe some are accommodated in other areas. And I suppose from the tour operator's perspective, there's a quality
Yeah.
issue there as well. And for visitor attractions and experiences, we're not, I suppose, sure that that they will come, or that there may be issues around finding accommodation either directly in the area, or in other areas. So tours may be traveling further, and
Yeah.
that has its own consequences, in that other maybe smaller businesses close to attractions and experiences, may be losing out.
Yeah, it's a complex one, and I think one that we're going to have to monitor very carefully. And tourism presents so many challenges. Every year is different. How do you manage that, Geraldine? How do you go about ensuring that you have a successful year even when there's lots of external challenges?
Sure. Well, we're always looking to head ahead, to see what challenges are out there, and, things that we need to keep on our radar. So I suppose we're very lucky and fortunate that we have our agencies, Tourism Ireland, in terms of, marketing overseas, and they bring great insights from the markets to us. And I suppose we use those as a basis for, what markets we're going to focus on. And then I suppose domestically, we have Fáilte Ireland, and, we work with them, in terms of training needs and supports for businesses, and I suppose keeping the dialogue open. And they recently had their regional roadshows, which
Yeah.
worked very, very well. And we're also working with them in terms of they're called the EDPs, the Destination
Yeah.
Experience Development Plans.
Yeah, it's a great example of collaboration, isn't it, across the public and private sectors and state agencies. Just looking at the day job, Geraldine, how's 2023 looking? I mean, the US market traditionally would have been a very important market for you
Mhm.
guys. Is that still holding up well? Do you get line of sight of advanced bookings?
Yeah, I suppose just in terms of the overall product and experience, and we're very lucky, yeah, at the Cliffs of Moher to have such a fantastic product on the west of Ireland, and it's a key signature point on the Wild Atlantic Way, and we're part of a geopark. And of course, we are close to Shannon International Airport as well. So all of those, I suppose, conditions, help us to be a great attraction. But I suppose we don't rest on our laurels. We have there are huge expectations around the Cliffs of Moher, and we have a massive job in communicating to our customers and
Yeah.
prospective customers, or those with an intent to travel to Ireland. So for an example, I suppose we're back out in 2022 in the international markets, and promoting the west of
Yeah.
Ireland and County Clare and the Cliffs of Moher. We were in the States a couple of times last year in Milwaukee, and we were over on the west coast in California. Our sales and marketing executive is just back from a sales mission in Canada, and we were at ITB. Obviously, we had the ITOA workshops.
Yeah.
There 2 weeks ago. We'll be attending Mahil as well. So we feel it's really important that that we hold a position out there in the market in terms of attracting people in. But you're absolutely right in terms of the key markets, like the US market is a very strong market for us,
Yeah.
given that we're an attraction that depends on international visitors. So we're very fortunate right now in terms of the exchange rate.
Yeah.
So that's in our favor. So we would see strong advance bookings from group tours. So all of our group tours are booked in advance. So we get a good indication of kind of where we're at um, in terms of forward booking. So the US is looking quite strong at the moment. A little bit of softness there in terms of, France and Germany, very low on the UK markets, and Italy and Spain seem to be performing okay. But certainly,
Yeah.
you're right, the US is certainly a front runner for us.
Yeah. Well, I think President Joe Biden is coming over shortly, or in April, so maybe we can arrange a visit to the cliffs, Geraldine. I'm sure you'll roll out the red carpet or the green carpet. But listen, thank you so much for your time. You do wonderful work on behalf of the broader visitor experience and attraction sector, but also in terms of just running the world class visitor experience that is the Cliffs of Moher. So the best of luck for the year ahead, Geraldine.
Thank you, Owen. Thanks.